Last night it was all Jon Lester. The newly acquired left-handed starter showed why he is one of the best pitchers in the major leagues by mowing down the Twins and collecting his 4th career shutout. And the A's took Game 1 versus the Twins. Tonight, Scott Kazmir takes to Hill, and he will look to get back on track as he had a disappointing start versus the Royals on Sunday. It's Friday Night Baseball from the O.co. Game 2, A's Twins, coming up next. Friday Night Baseball from Oakland. We are at the O.co Coliseum getting set for Game 2 of this 4-game series. Scott Kazmir, well, he's going to try to follow up the terrific performance from Jon Lester. See if Kazmir can do that, or maybe even just get close to duplicating it. It's the Twins and the Athletics coming up on Comcast Sportsnet, California. Hey again, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. Pitching matchup tonight is a good one. Scott Kazmir going for his 13th win, and Kyle Gibson, a young man who's a former first-round draft pick, and he's pitched well for the Twins this year.
I think the A's want to see Scott Kazmir bounce back from Sunday's start against the Kansas City Royals. 10 starts. He ended up picking up the loss in that game. We know what he's capable of doing. Of course, he's won 12, and that's excellent for him, even though he'd like to win a lot more. As far as Gibson is concerned, let's be happy that it's Kyle, not Bob, because Bob Gibson could pitch. Kyle Gibson could also pitch. He's a ground ball pitcher. A's will be seeing him for the first time tonight, so it should be a pretty good matchup between these two pitchers tonight, especially from the A's standpoint. With a ground ball pitcher, you want to make sure he gets the ball up.
Kurt Suzuki's first 5.5 years of his career. We're right here with the Oakland A's. It looks like he's found a new home with the Minnesota Twins.
Well, they like him so much they extended his contract for a couple of years beyond this season. He's hitting over 300, but as Rick Anderson, the pitching coach, said, the most important thing he's doing is handling his pitching staff. We know he can do that. What he's doing offensively is the fact that he's healthy now, and he's found a home in the Twin Cities. They love him there. He's swinging the bat well, and again, that's secondary. They want him to handle the pitching staff, but he uses the whole field. He's only hit a couple of home runs. He's driving in big runs, but the bottom line, Kurt Suzuki is exactly what the Twins wanted and needed, somebody to handle the pitching staff.
All right, the A's won last night by a final score of 3-0. They'll try to make it 2 in a row tonight over the Twins. So Game 2 of this 4-game series is coming up. It's the A's and the Twins. We'll have lineups and first pitch from the O.co when we come back.
Comcast Sportsnet California is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Right now at Jack in the Box, try Jack's Spicy Chicken Club Combo for just $4.99 plus tax. And by Toyota, #1 in MPG, durability, and resale value. Toyota, let's go places.
All right, the A's behind Scott Kazmir take the field as we're moments away from first pitch. Game 2 of the 4-game series between the Oakland A's and the Minnesota Twins. Game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is now open daily. 67 degrees, a lot like last night. A little breezy, and it'll be a cool night as we get into the later part of the evening. So Friday night baseball from the Coliseum. And let's look at the lineup tonight for the Minnesota Twins. Young center fielder Danny Santana, he's a switch hitter. He'll lead off. Dozier will hit second and play second. Plouffe at third. Vargas is the DH. Arcian right. Suzuki the catcher. Parmalee is start at first. Nunez is the shortstop. And Jordan Schaefer is the left fielder.
Well, Scott Kazmir, 23rd start. One of those came against the Twins, his second start as a member of the Athletics back on April the 7th. That was at the Twin Cities and picked up a win. He did give up 3 runs, but the A's won the game 12-4. But his last start against Kansas City for Scott Kazmir, he went just 6 innings, 10 hits in the game. But James Shields was his opposite number, and Shields was too stingy, wouldn't allow too much to the Athletics, and Kazmir and the A's ended up losing that game Sunday.
So Danny Santana, the switch hitter, steps in. And we're set for baseball as Kazmir kicks, and the first pitch of the game is in for a strike.
First pitch, 7-0.
A's with a 3-game lead over the Angels in the West. And the Angels will host the Red Sox. That game getting started right about now. Umpires tonight. And Hickox is calling balls and strikes. Holberg at first, Barrett at second. Gorman, the crew chief, is at third.
And Eddie Montague, the supervisor, is roaming around watching the crew that you just mentioned.
Oh boy, we all better behave because Eddie's in the house. Left center field, Fold is over there, and Danny Santana is retired. Defensively for the Athletics, Moss, Fold, and Reddick in the outfield. Donaldson, Lowry, Sogard, Vogt on the infield. Jaso is the catcher.
Number 2, Ryan.
Threw that 0-2 changeup and then started shaking his arm.
We don't like that.
No. But it was a good changeup 0-2. Had Santana out on the front foot with an easy fly ball to center. Ooh. That's why John Jaso likes to DH, because he just took one right square off the mast, knocked his mask loose.
Too early for that.
Oh. Second batter. And if you want to catch, this is the best part about it right here. Wake you up very quickly in a game. Straight back. John Jaso, a little extension. Got him right above that, right straight towards the mouth. But fortunately, the mask was there.
Tapped slowly, and it's going to roll foul. Donaldson waits for it to roll foul and picks it up. So 0-2 with Trevor Plouffe in the on-deck circle. Dozier was almost a hero last night for the Twins. He missed a 3-run homer that would have tied the game, and it couldn't have been fouled by more than a foot. Just to the left of the foul pole, right down the left field line.
Well, Brandon Moss was quickly becoming an umpire last night as he knew the ball was in the seats, saw it pass in front of the foul pole, and made sure that he helped calling it foul.
Watch how close this is to being foul.
Well, that pitch is out of the strike zone, but down the line and just to the left of the foul pole. And Brandon Moss saying, foul ball. And John Lester said, thank you. I'll pitch around him.
Swing and a miss. So Dozier strikes out, and 2 outs here in the first inning.
Scott Kazmir does such a great job throwing his changeup that whenever he does this, it's only 92. And I say only because at one time he threw 98. But that 92 mile-an-hour fastball is so easy out of his hand. And the changeup's thrown so well that the fastball looks a lot harder.
So here's Plouffe. Plouffe playing third, hitting third, 249 with 8 home runs, 51 RBIs. Good pitch there, right down around the knees for a strike.
Remember that game in Minneapolis? Scott Kazmir struggled early. He got out of some big jams early and showed the true pitcher that he is.
Moss backs up. Plenty of room, reaches up, makes the catch. That's a 9-pitch first inning for Scott Kazmir. A's come to bat in the bottom of the first when we return. Go after Kyle Gibson. Let's look at the lineup for the A's. Crisp, Jaso, Donaldson, Moss, Lowry, Reddick, Vogt, Full, and Sogar.
Kyle Gibson facing the green and go for the first time, and he has pitched well for Ron Gardner and Rick Anderson. 10-8 on the season. 22nd start for the right-hander. Started out his career this season on a very, very positive note, picking up wins early. And one thing you just need to know about him, he throws, induces a lot of ground balls, which means the assortment of pitches that he throws usually are down and moving down, and hitters hit on top, which means also the infield has to be alert. He's trying to elevate some of the sinkers.
Defensively for the Twins, George Schaefer in left, Danny Santana in center, Oswaldo Arcia is in right, Trevor Plouffe, Eduardo Nunez, Brian Dozier, Chris Parmalee around the infield, and Kurt Suzuki again behind the dish. So Coco steps in. He's DHing tonight.
See his haircut?
No, I read about it. I did not get a real close-up look.
I thought the A's had acquired a new player. I saw him in the clubhouse.
One hopper right to Dozier. Sure. Well, Coco will give us a good hairdo once, twice a year.
Well, when he takes his helmet off in the dugout, you'll see it. Time now for the Nissan keys to the game. Lefty feeding off another lefty. That's last night. The lefty, John Lester. Tonight, it is Scott Kazmir. A couple of O's. Offer's gone. Offer's gone. Offers are gone. That's right. Those offers, the A's had a couple, including one with a 2-run home run. Another double. So a lot of good things happening last night for the A's. They scored just 3 runs, but got a shutout from John Lester.
So 1 pitch, 1 out here in the bottom of the first, and that'll bring up Jaso. Jaso hitting .270 with 8 homers, 38 RBIs.
So Gibson's a ground ball pitcher. The first out's a ground ball.
Kyle Gibson. Gibson was the first-round draft pick of the Twins in 2009. 22nd pick overall. A college pitcher, University of Missouri. Made 10 starts last year at the big league level, getting to the bigs for the first time. Another ground ball. And that's the second out. So he has been one of the Twins' top prospects for the last 3 or 4 years, and finally got to the big leagues last year. Highest ground ball percentage in the American League, and Sonny Gray, Kyle Gibson tied.
Felix Hernandez right in the middle. He may win a lot of awards this year the way he's pitching.
That is a good call. First pitch to Donaldson, drops in there first strike.
Start a game, you see way of pitchers pitching. Chris Casimir, 1, 2, 3, 9 pitch inning. And you see Gibson throwing a couple of easy ground ball outs. The first 2 batters. Just wonder if it's going to be one of those games that first mistake loses. That's why you have to play good defense, especially behind good pitching.
16 straight games without scoring a run in the first inning for the Athletics. Donaldson drives one toward right center field. That's going to be into the gap. So Donaldson will dig into second base with a 2-out double.
Well, when Britton gave up the 3-run walk-off to Josh Donaldson, Eric Norris was talking about how Britton has that good sinker. We talk about the sinker and the ground ball pitcher that Gibson is. For some reason, Donaldson's able to get under what is normally a pitch that hitters beat into the ground. And great inside-out swing, stayed inside the ball and drove it to right center. So his spray chart continues to see a lot of lines going to different parts of the field.
Exmo brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort. Here's Moss. Moss takes a fastball low. 250, 23 home runs, 72 RBIs for Moss. Another fastball low, and it's 2-0. Lowry in the on-deck circle.
We had the shot of Brandon Moss last night with the sigh of relief when he hit the double off the right center field wall. And he just took a couple of pitches that when he was really struggling, he might have been swinging at those pitches, but kind of staying back and trusting his hands. He has tremendous power. And that's all he needs to do is just stay back.
Changeup on 2-0 and had pretty good movement on it, moving away from Moss, and Moss swings and misses.
Now see, this is Kurt Suzuki. This is Suzuki showing the belief in his pitcher and the pitcher believing in himself that he can throw these pitches in fastball counts. And it's one thing, sometimes you look at the pitcher, but you can also look at the catcher, the type of game he's going to call.
Fastball inside, corner call to strike. So the inside corner given to Gibson here.
Okay.
That one floats outside. So now full count.
Not to factor in first base open and good changeups that Brandon Moss has already seen. As Gibson will use the 4 pitches, primarily the fastball, slider, change, curveball, and of course the fastball 2 and 4 seam, which the 2 seam is what gets a lot of ground ball outs.
Swing and a miss. Boy, he stayed with that changeup, and he gets Moss, and the A's strand Donaldson at second base. No score after 1.
mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replay scores, stats, audio, free MLB.tv game of the day, and more. Download on the App Store or visit athletics.com today.
So top of the second inning. And this is big Kenny Vargas stepping in, switch hitter, and he takes the first pitch strike. Vargas going to get a chance to play down the stretch here for the Twins. Fouls that one straight back, 0-2.
Pretty smart on the Twins' part. They know he has a lot of power, as he has already displayed, especially the 3-run home run against the Padres. And anytime a player says that target field, the ball carries, you know something's wrong, because I think anybody that has played there, seen balls except the home run derby, it doesn't carry well. But if you're strong as this young man is, maybe they do.
Bounce to the right side, easy play. Nice hop for Sogard, 1 out.
Well, this was Tuesday against the Padres, and it was at target field. It was a hanging breaking ball, and he crushed it to right field. As Ron Gardenhire said, breaking ball outside. He pulled it from the left side. And of course, power from the right side as well. I always like to see him shake his hand, though. It means he got jammed.
First pitch to Oswaldo Arcia. Arcia 226 with 8 home runs, 25 RBIs. Good fastball there, and it's 0-2. The Twins last night had just 3 hits, 3 singles. They just had a couple of runners get into scoring position, and they didn't get a hit till the 6th inning. And 3 pitches, Arcia waves at the 3rd one. And that's the 2nd strikeout, 2 outs.
Scott Kazmir very tough on the left. He just kept moving out farther and farther. Take a little bit more off the pitch to get Arcia to try to reach the outside slider. And that's an excellent delivery from the left-hander.
So with 2 outs, Kurt Suzuki steps in. Suzuki 307, couple of home runs, 46 RBIs. He got the first hit last night, a line drive single to left field off John Lester.
And that was
taken all the way.
That was the fastball hit right there for the first hit of the game for the Twins last night.
Fouled straight back. All right, there's the hairdo.
Can you describe it?
Nope.
How about that little part back, way back in there?
Nope, don't know what that is either.
Unless they just forgot it. Don't think so, though. I think that was intentional.
Suzuki drives on the right center, hit pretty well. Fold on the move, but Sam Fold is going to get there. He makes the catch. 6 up, 6 down for Scott Kazmir. Bottom of the 2nd coming up. Sportsnet California is brought to you by Roaring Camp Railroads. Dinner Roaring Camp style is sizzling steaks, a moonlit steam ride, and singing around the campfire. No score, bottom of the second inning. A's go back to work against Kyle Gibson. A's got a 2-out double from Donaldson in the first, but that was it. So Lowry back in the lineup. He pinch hit last night. The finger feeling better. Said it was bothering him when he throws the baseball, which makes sense if it's your right index finger.
Well, the main thing is in the line to be able to throw. Was the last test. Usually swing the bat, you don't necessarily have to compress the finger against the bat. But when you're throwing, that's exactly what you have to do to make the strong, accurate throw.
Change up, and it's a swing and a miss. Good pitch so far for Gibson.
I think also, I don't know that position players want to miss too much time. Everyday players anyway, because the timing, they miss some time and they are not able to take batting practice. Timing is so critical and limits the amount of time you're not on the field. That should help you maybe rest a little bit, but keep your timing as much as possible.
Now 3-1. Lowry 244 with 5 homers, 42 RBIs. He's got 28 doubles this year after banging out 45 doubles last year. Reddick to follow, and then Vogt. There's a line drive, but right at Arcia, who goes down to one knee to make the catch. So one away here in the bottom of the second.
At least he got underneath the sinker to hit a line drive, or at least the off-speed pitch, maybe a changeup.
Batting the sixth position, right fielder, number 16, John Reddick.
So Reddick steps in, 258, 8 home runs, 34 RBIs. Hits that one right up the middle, but Eduardo Nunez is playing right there, and that's the second out. So the shift works there.
Wow.
As that ball was right up the middle, but Nunez, the shortstop, is playing right there.
Number 21, Steven.
That's so disappointing because that's a great swing by Reddick, and that's what he had been doing. Hit the ball up the middle.
So here's Vogt, 316, 6 homers, 25 RBIs. Had that home run last night in the third inning, and that stopped his 0 for 23 stretch. And it was the big hit in the game for the A's.
I think you just realize a lot of talented people on the right field bleachers because they go from Careless Whisper and playing the saxophone to I believe in Stephen Vogt.
Yeah.
I mean, that's within the same. I mean, Reddick hitting and then Vogt right behind him. So they lay down the saxophones and start chanting that they believe. That's who's out there right there.
Here's the home run by Vogt.
Got a fastball, and he did not miss it against Pino. And that was big because Callaspo walked in front of him. That's been a long time for a walk for Callaspo. And Stephen Vogt got rid of an offer with a big 2-run home run.
3-2 now to Vogt. Sam Fuld would be next if Vogt can get aboard. Hit toward first. Parmalee grabs it. Side retired. So that's a 3-up, 3-down inning for Kyle Gibson. Third inning coming up. No score.
Advantage of the Xfinity Friday Family Pack coming up on August the 22nd against the Los Angeles Angels. That's a big weekend series. You can get 4 Plaza level tickets, 4 Coliseum hot dogs, 4 medium sodas, and 4 bags of peanuts for only $50. Tickets are limited, so act fast. For more information and tickets, go to athletics.com/Friday. That will be a huge series, the first of 6 games here at the Coliseum against the Angels. That's a 3-game, and then the final 3 home games of the regular season against the Angels.
Twins fan with a nice play. This is Chris Parmelee hitting in the 7th spot. Kazmir has retired the first 6 so far. Parmelee, Nunez, Schaefer. And that one's hit high in the air to center. Routine for Fold. 1 away.
Yep, there's the changeup to the left-hander. That's something we're seeing more and more from Scott Kazmir, that it's not exclusively throwing a changeup to right-handers. It was up a little bit. Jason wanted it down and away, left it towards the middle, but just the fact that it's a changeup to a lefty, probably a pitch that they're not accustomed to seeing on a consistent basis.
So lots of changeups, and he's got a good one. So here's Eduardo Nunez. Yes, this is the Eduardo Nunez who played quite a bit for the Yankees the last couple years. Twins got him very early in the year, April 7th. In fact, we were there when they acquired Eduardo Nunez, there being in Minneapolis. Florimon was the shortstop at that time, but they got Nunez. Flips this one toward shallow right. Sogard is back and he makes the catch. So that's 8 up and 8 down for Scott Kazmir.
Batting in the 9th position, left fielder, number 1.
And that'll bring up Jordan Schaefer. Jordan Schaefer just became a Minnesota Twin. He was acquired off waivers from the Braves on August 3rd. So Schaefer getting a start tonight in left field. And fastball a bit outside.
Getting a change of scenery, which he was looking forward to. Enjoyed his time in Atlanta, but anytime you're not playing a lot, you get a new chance, go to a new team.
Thing is, with that change of scenery, if you were hitting more than 163, you probably wouldn't need a change of scenery.
That's right.
And the team that you're with would want to keep you.
That's right.
Fold on the move. So is Moss. It'll be Moss who reaches up to make the catch. Side retire. That is 9 up, 9 down by Scott Kazmir. He's cruising along. Bottom of the 3rd coming up. Brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Most games caught in the big leagues since 2008. Kurt Suzuki is third on the list behind Yadier Molina and A.J. Brzezinski. So he's been a workhorse behind the plate.
And Yadier Molina is out probably for the season, and A.J. Brzezinski, who's on that list, has taken over for him in St. Louis, and seems to be doing a very good job in the absence of the Gold Glover and Mr. Cardinal, Yadier Molina.
Let's see if the A's can get something going here in the bottom of the third. Fold, Sogard, and Crisp. 8, 9, and 1. Fold 258 overall with a couple of home runs and 21 RBIs. That inside corner called a strike.
You get a pitcher using both sides of the plate, changing speeds effectively. That makes the catcher's job very easy and a lot of fun to put down the fingers and pretty much get the pitch and location you're looking for.
So far, Gibson's been able to do that. So has Kazmir. So 1 and 2. And there's that inside corner. Strike 3 called. So 1 away. Team photo day today. That's always interesting. The gold tops. It's a good look. Coaching staff with the all whites on. And there's the pitching staff, which got around the mound, the starters. That's kind of cool. So we like those uniform tops.
Yeah. And amazing. Look at that group on the mound. And let's see, Sonny Gray from the only one from last year. And the other ones are new, and they've done a very good job. So changes that happen at the professional major league level, and we've seen it with the starting staff and the Athletics. Bullpen has been tremendous, as they pretty much have been in the standard bullpen for the Athletics this year, doing a great job.
Sogard with a line drive, but Arcia playing shallow, and he grabs it. So 2 away here in the bottom of the third. And that'll bring up Coco Crisp. The only hit in the game so far, Donaldson's 2-out double in the first inning. The Angels and the Red Sox are scoreless in the third inning. Webster for Boston, Weaver for the Angels. Angels have lost 3 in a row. Remember, they won the first game of that series against the Dodgers and then lost the next 3. The Red Sox have lost 7 out of their last 9. Oh, 0-1 to Coco Crisp, who grounded out to second his first at bat. White Sox and the Mariners are underway. No score in the third inning there. Quintana for Chicago, Iwakuma for the Mariners. That's game 2 of a 4-game series. The Mariners won last night 13-3 over Chicago. Sinker, and it's 2-1.
Hearing today that Ernesto Frieri designated for assignment by the Pirates after being acquired by actually a trade for Jason Grilli, but he went from closer for the Angels beginning of the season, traded, and now designated.
Yeah, that was a bit surprising.
He's only 28 years old, he too.
And it's almost one of those things where picking the guy up, and I'm not necessarily saying the A's, I'm just saying any team in general, and maybe think about next year.
Sure.
Give him a
That's right.
off season to clear his head, because he really has struggled all year, but that's a pretty good arm. He was pretty darn good with the Angels.
Yeah, a lot of movement, and put him in the role out of nowhere, became their closer, and kind of the step into the 9th inning, it's a done deal. But
so, you know, maybe maybe not a closer. Maybe he's more of a 7th, 8th inning guy. Who knows? But
you think about early in the season when Jaso hit the home run. Who knows what kind of an effect that has. Getting ready to get a save against a team that you could end up chasing, and all of a sudden you give up a home run. It's a whole different ballgame.
No swing. Well, and I think too, just losing your closer's job.
Yeah.
Guys don't always bounce back from that.
That's true.
I think that's a swing, folks.
I think so too. And Hickox was blocked by the swing of the catcher, and he deferred to Brian Gorman, and Gorman turned his head to the side, as he indicated on those pitches outside. I think the first and third base umpires really have to be on their toes. They aren't anyway, but really after every pitch you have to look because of the check swings and the appeals is so often.
And outside, and Coco's got a 2-out walk. So that's the first walk for Kyle Gibson. He's got a couple of strikeouts. So that'll bring up Jaso. Well, keep an eye on Coco. He's got 16 steals on the year. He's been thrown out 4 times. Not a ridiculous time to think about running here.
Then you give up the hole between first and second, but if you're successful, you get yourself in scoring position where a base hit can score, and then runs are at a premium, it seems.
There's a shot right to Dozier on one hop. Side retired. So a base runner, but nothing else for the Athletics. And we are on our way to the 4th. No score. Choice. Let's go back to last night. John Lester, his 4th career shutout, his 11th career complete game. He went the full 9, 122 pitches, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, and he was really only in trouble 1 inning. And boy, looking back on that performance, Ray, it was, I mean, he's an artist, man. Huh. And I'm not saying a guy who paints the corners, but he's got really good stuff, and he's got great command, and he knows exactly what he's doing. And he's throwing what, 91, 92, 93. Yeah. So we're not talking about somebody who's pumping it in there at 96, 97 miles an hour.
And really kind of a different style, but similarities between last night's pitcher and Lester and Kazmir tonight. Kazmir used to throw the 98, but now more of a pitcher in a sense where he's kind of reinvented himself as far as the type of pitcher he is. And Lester last night did not break the gun, but he really nailed the outside corner. You have to think if Brian Gorman had given a few more outside pitches that at least looked like they were strikes, might have been even a better story.
He was fun to watch.
Yeah. A lot of confidence too, Kev. When he takes the mound, and you can just see how the confidence is there that he is going to do his job as a pitcher. And boy, he knows that he was acquired to do the one thing that he's been doing so far, and that's keep the club in the games and win.
Kazmir has it. Throws to first. The leadoff man Santana is retired.
Well, he came out. Melvin said, "You okay? You got it." And he does go out for the ninth. He got it done quickly.
So painting the outside corner is probably a fitting way to end the ball game. And that's what he did. Here's Dozier, who takes a first pitch strike. Dozier struck out in the first.
Okay, one of the things that pitchers talk about, see the numbers for Lester last night. A couple of walks and one to Dozier that he was pitching him carefully after he almost hit a 3-run home run. But pitchers talk about they want to follow and keep the line moving with success. And if the pitchers are following Lester, then it's quite a chore to try to keep going. But it does help because you see one pitcher do it. You want to make sure you're doing your part, and all the starters are capable of doing exactly what they have been doing, and that's throwing strikes and maybe not requiring a lot of runs because they might not get a lot, but they might not really need as many as one might expect. Samardzija, of course, did not get a lot of run support in Chicago. A little bit more here.
On the ground to Lowry, couple steps to his right, flips it across, 2 outs. So 11 in a row retired by Kazmir to start this ball game.
Now batting, number 24.
And that'll bring up Trevor Plouffe.
Throw by Lowry was a good sign because there was no hesitation. You could see when he was indicating 2 outs that still in this right index finger is taped.
Plouffe hit a fly ball to left field in the first inning. First pitch strike. Twins are 51-62 on the season, 26-32 away from home. Twins will play the Angels again this year. They have a 4-game series in Minneapolis against the Angels later on this year.
This is what, the third city for them on about a 5-city trip, going home in between.
Yeah, that's right. They went home for 2, didn't they?
2 against the Padres and back on the road to here and in Houston. But they were in the Midwest, I think, prior to that short 2-game series in Minneapolis. But that's
right. Kansas City, Chicago home for 2, Oakland, Houston on the roads.
That's a Midwestern team, though. You know, you should have schedules like that. Now they're right in the heart of America, so their travel, especially the 2 cities leading up to the 2 games at their home park. Brother and I were together. We'd fly on a day of games.
Yeah.
Let's get up 11 o'clock, catch the plane.
Isn't that amazing if you think about it?
Get in the city at 1 o'clock.
See you at 5.
Yeah,
huh?
that's it. Be on the bus.
And everybody was on that bus.
Everybody.
Right. So 12 up, 12 down for Scott Kazmir. Good start for him. No scores. We go to the bottom of the 4th. TNT fan photo of the game. Make sure you tweet your photo to CSNCA fan photo. Put your name down and your hometown for a chance to be shown in one of our game broadcasts. It's all brought to you by AT&T. Tonight's fan photo is Rich and Robin Paloma from Tracy. So thanks for the photo. Keep them coming. Donaldson to lead it off here in the fourth. First pitch, swings and misses. Red Sox have scored a run in the top of the third against Weaver. Still batting. So 1-0 Boston over the Angels in the third. Gibson with a walk and 2 strikeouts so far. Donaldson with a double to right center in the first inning. And Donaldson, it's called a strike. Not sure if it was the pitch or the swing.
Looks like he held up his swing. We'll check it out here, but Hickok State normally will point at the hitter if it's called it on the swing, but I think it might have caught the corner.
That one runs inside. 2-2 the count. Gibson, low pitch count in the early going. Strike 3 call. The fastball right on the outside corner. So 1 out here in the fourth.
Tell you what, he's mixing the pitches inside, outside, a little tailing action with the fastball coming back. I mentioned on the open about the namesake Gibson. He may be pitching like Bob Gibson.
I thought that was a good line by you.
Well, 1968, Bob Gibson pitched so well, 1.12 earned run average. They lowered the mound because of that. They wanted to create more offense. This Gibson, he might not be throwing as hard as Hall of Famer Bob Gibson, but he is definitely doing some carving.
Boss struck out to end the first inning on a changeup. Hits that one into the shift. That's Nunez. 2 away. There's the AL West coming into today's action. 3-game lead for the Athletics over the Angels, and as Ray said, those two teams have 10 games left against each other. Yoenis Cespedes just knocked in a pair with a double.
I think I read those as first ribbies. I think it was someone said it was 5 for 15, but no RBI. But that evidently changed.
Yeah.
And we talked last night about how he enjoyed playing in Anaheim.
Yes, he did.
And so he's got a series there this weekend now with the Red Sox, but playing against the Angels.
Line drive down the right field line, and that is just fair. Garcia has trouble picking it up, and Lowry's going to try for third. The throw to third is offline. Lowry has a triple. Garcia couldn't pick it up, and then he had to chase it a little while along the base of the wall, and that certainly helped Lowry get to third.
Well, the 2 outs, Jared Lowry, I think, was going to be satisfied with a double, which rightfully so with a couple of outs. Don't want to run into and out of third, but Garcia had the problem. And Lowry went after another off-speed pitch and hooked it down the line just barely fair. But Garcia, I don't know if he's going to be given an error. He could not come up with the ball cleanly. And that's not a good sign. If that's artificial surface, my friend, that's an inside the park home run. But Lowry had stopped. This is when you want to pick up a third base coach. He's looking there and then decided late on his own. Never once looked at Mike Gallego. And boy, third base coach can really help you in that case.
Never figure that out.
Yeah, I know. Especially running in that case, you don't have to look back.
Exactly.
Just look at the third base coach. It is a triple.
Try running and then looking completely behind you. That's very difficult to do.
If I'm riding a bike and do that.
Yeah. I don't get that. Why guys don't look at the third base coach.
Well, Mike Gallego, that's all he says. That just look at me, let me be the one to make the decision.
0-1 to Reddick.
And the other day when Suzuki's going to talk to him, critical time, but remember when Escobar hesitated and Norris scored on the ball down in the corner. Gag said that the next day that normally guys come out and they tip the hat, how you doing? He said, Escobar looked at me and goes, don't be doing that. Guy says, what do you mean? You hesitated and I caught you and you're telling me not to do it? I'm sorry. You better be a little bit better prepared the next time.
Escobar seemed a little uninterested in that series anyways, to be honest with you.
Well, it showed him his hesitation. It got burned on it.
One and one the count to Reddick, who grounded out to short in the second inning. That one bounced to Dozier, who charges and throws quickly, and they got him. That is not an easy play. Boy, Dozier had to charge it, and not only charge it, but then get rid of it quickly, and it was very close at first, but Reddick is retired. So, runner stranded, and we're headed to the fifth. No score. Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet California is brought to you by When the Game Stands Tall. It's in theater starting August 22nd. No score. We are in the fifth inning. First pitch swinging. Kenny Vargas fouls it back. Vargas, Arcia, and Suzuki here in the fifth. There's a line drive, almost picked by Lowry, but it scoots behind him. So that's going to be the first hit of the game, and it belongs to Kenny Vargas. First hit of the game for the Twins.
Oh, it was smoked. Can understand how this young man could hit the ball so hard. And Jed Lowry, boy, if he came up with that ball and really had it in his glove, but it just completely took it out of the glove. Still closing the glove, hoping the ball was there, but it definitely got past him.
So here's Arcia, who saw 3 pitches in the second inning and struck out. When he goes after the first pitch here, it was an off-speed pitch and fouls it at home plate. Good power from Arcia. Still trying to figure it all out.
He's got to be happy to see a right-handed pitcher. Because you want to be in the lineup, but there's sometimes you're facing some guys that lefty on lefty are pretty tough to hit. If you're trying to pull the ball too, that makes it hard, because ideally against a lefty on lefty, think opposite field, but it looks like Arcia wants to pull the pitches that are outside.
0-2 pitch runs outside, so the count 1-2. Swing and a miss. A slider, and Arcia strikes out for the second time. Some numbers from the last start. Talking about pitches in the middle of the plate. A few more in his last start, and he got hit. So those things are usually going to go hand in hand. And so basically what we're saying is the last start, where he did struggle some, the location just was not as good as it's been pretty much every start this year. He's had a couple rough ones, but not too bad. Suzuki thinks about bunting. Quick throw to first, and Vargas gets back, but he had wandered off quite a ways.
Another bunt and a miss, and it's almost as if he thought Suzuki had bunted the ball, because he took off and he almost got picked off.
In for a strike. Suzuki hit a fly ball to center field in the second inning.
Amazing, Kurt Suzuki, the success he is having. And I remember a young man named Pinto, the catcher, who was catching last year when the A's saw him in September and doing a great job. And Suzuki actually was brought in pretty much to try to mentor him. But Kurt Suzuki took over by himself and is the everyday catcher.
Pinto's not even in the big leagues.
No. And that's how quickly things can change. See the double plays for Scott Kazmir.
Very good take by Suzuki, and that pitch down and in. So 3-1. Chris Parmelee, a left-handed hitter, waits in the on-deck circle.
Saying about that, 2007, Kurt Suzuki joined the A's. Jason Kendall was here and kind of wanted Kendall to mentor Suzuki, and Jason said, no, I've got some playing time left, and he ended up playing about another 4 years.
Hit hard. Donaldson dives back in, gets up, out at second, and it's picked at first. Are you kidding me?
Unbelievable.
Sensational double play, as good as you'll see anywhere in baseball.
Wow. Talk about defense and robbing a hit of a double. This is a double down the line, but Josh Donaldson to his knees to Sogard, and then an unbelievable 5-4-3 double play. Look how this ball is hooking away from Donaldson. Comes up with it quickly and completed the double play with a nice pick by Vogt at first base. And understandably so, you get a big wow from the starting pitcher, Scott Kazmir, after an unbelievable double play. Gets Kazmir out of the inning, just showed 15 double plays. And yes, he's cheering everybody on that one. Well, that's second and third, maybe even second and an RBI. Instead, it's a double play. And the hitter Suzuki runs well. He might have been shocked that Donaldson caught it and just is thrown out at first to complete the double play. That is unbelievable. Well, if you can be a ground ball pitcher, you can get plays like that, many that you do not expect to see the result, but they got it.
Three 3-0 to Vogt. Vogt, Fold, and Sogard. And a 4-pitch walk to lead off the bottom of the 5th inning.
I think Mr. Gibson was thinking he's got a run or two on the board, and quickly he's back out on the mound in 4 pitches. 3 not offered at by Stephen Vogt, and the 4th 3-0. Vogt hesitated because he thought it might have been a strike and looked pretty close.
So Fold steps in. A's have their leadoff man on for the first time.
So Sam Fold bunt against Kansas City, a drag bunt, and he is very good at laying the ball down with the speed. They have to be concerned about him as well.
Showed bunt, pulls the bat back, and the pitch is called a strike. Angels scored a couple of runs in the bottom of the 3rd. Cespedes with an error in the outfield that allowed 1 run to score, and then Trout had a sacrifice fly. So it's now 3-2 going to the 4th. The Red Sox lead.
So let's see. Cespedes missed the ball and he didn't throw somebody out.
I guess not.
That's where.
But he may.
That's where his reputation surfaced big time with a couple of throws after making a couple of miscues.
Fold bunts it, and it's a good one. Throw to first, and it gets by everybody. There's a collision at first. Vogt is going to try for third. He'll make it and stay there. And the A's have second and third, and nobody out.
Well, once it gets past the pitcher, it is a foot race, and Sam Fold does it again. And with Parmelee throwing to the second baseman, Dozier covering. I mean, that was a tough play, but what a great bunt by Sam Fold again, as he did over the weekend. And a play that only one play. And Dozier behind the bag. Fold catapult over him. Man, he's able to get up quickly and get to second base with Vogt going to third. Stephen Vogt hustling to second base in the slide, but then realizing as he popped up, the ball got past the first baseman, and here we go.
So it's a single and an E3. Infield, the middle infielders are back, corner infielders in as Sogard steps up.
And once again, how many times we've seen where if you get the ball down and the bunt, strange things can happen. And we just saw it.
I think the bunt play, everybody talks about executing the bunt play as the bunter. I think a lot of times it's not a lot of times. I mean, it's just as important to execute defensively on the bunt play. And
absolutely,
boy, a lot of times teams don't do it. And granted, that was a good bunt. Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure if there was a whole lot of anything the Twins could do to get it out there.
Yeah, Parmelee probably would have been better suited not to throw it off, because it was going to be tough for Dozier to get there to make the play. But you're right, especially if the hitter who's bunting has speed, that you have to be concerned about him.
Sogard rolls that one foul. 1-1 the count. Sogard's been swinging a hot bat. He lined out in the third inning.
And this is a drag bunt. I mean, this is more bunting for a base hit and running hard down the line. And whenever you're drag bunting, you're getting out of the box very quickly, almost like a sprinter getting out of the box, as opposed to turning around, squaring around it, and sacrificing.
One pitch is low. 2-1 with Coco Crisp waiting in the on-deck circle.
Cap, we saw Sam Fold throw out, run at the plate in the double play. So really a couple of things that Fold does, kind of a lost art. Bunting, number one, but also setting up nicely and making the throw. Of course, we see Josh Reddick do it consistently. Fold took the ball in center field, made a perfect throw to the plate.
Low again, 3-1. Gibson getting himself in all kinds of trouble. But just a situation like this in the grand scheme of the game, with as good as the A's pitching staff is, the Twins are not a good offensive team. I mean, these two runs out there, that could be the difference in the game, and it probably will be.
And almost to the point you think they would be playing the infield in.
That's what I thought too.
But they're conceding the run. If Sogard can make contact on the ground, especially to the right side.
And he walked in. So the bases are loaded, nobody out for Coco Crisp.
Rick Anderson, pitching coach, is going to visit with his right-hander. And really in this inning, what we're seeing, we saw with Vogt, 3 of the hard sinkers down out of the strike zone. He took all 3. And the same with Sogard. He did not offer at pitches that the A's were offering at in the first time through the batting order.
So the meeting is over. So Coco for his third at bat. He's grounded out. He's walked. Middle infielders cheat up a little bit. And remember, Ray, how we've talked about Coco Crisp back in the lineup, and just as important as him being that leadoff guy, getting on base, making things happen, he's a good clutch hitter.
Right.
This is where he's just as important, I think. Middle of the game clutch hits.
Right.
Pitch low, and now it's 2-0, and Gibson's got himself in all kinds of trouble. It started with a 4-pitch walk to Vogt.
And the frustrating thing for a pitcher, whenever he has had success with hitters swinging at really pitchers' pitches, not really pitches that they can aggressively go after and hit hard. And all of a sudden they're taking those same pitches. And you have to be wondering as a pitcher, am I going to have to start elevating? If I do, am I going to get hit hard?
Like a curveball dropped in there first strike. Two-one pitch, hit foul. Vogt at third, Fold at second, Sogard at first. John Jaso will be next. The big pitch right here. Gibson probably does not want to go to 3-2. And it's popped up foul territory, and it'll get into the seats.
Another breaking ball as he had thrown 2-0 and got the call strike. This time with a couple of strikes, Coco fouled it back. Similar pitch in on the hands.
So we'll do the 2-2 count again. 70th pitch of the night coming up for Gibson. And that one's drilled right center field. Nobody's going to get it. 1 run scores. 2 runs score. 3 runs score. 3-0 Athletics.
I thought there was going to be a baton pass between Sogard and Fold. Fastball, got it on a 2-2. Sogard read it perfectly. Sam Fold at second base. Maybe not, because watch the top of your screen. Fold goes back. Here comes Sogard, and they were almost. Sogard rounded almost to the point he almost passed it. And there's a foot race. Sogard having to slow down a little bit, and Gallego able to send both of them. All 3 scored, but a little bit better angle for Sogard to see that the ball was going to split the gap, and Fold was going to make sure.
And still nobody out.
Well, he's going to get a triple into the gap, but fouled off the tough pitch with 2 strikes. Folt's going to score easily, and then the foot race for Fold and Sogard right behind him. So a triple for Coco, but there's get in the count. Fouling off a tough pitch with 2 strikes. He throws a fastball, and Coco just reacted on it.
So 3-0. And I'm telling you, to the Twins dugout, it feels like 7.
Yeah.
And now it's 2-1.
And in 1 game tonight, in 1 inning, the A's have equaled the number of walks that have scored so far in this month.
Now the infield does come in, and it's hit right at Dozier, who makes a nice play. Flips to first, and that's out number 1. So Coco holds. Not an easy play. That ball was hit very hard.
Well, it's the old attaboy. That's kind of the way John Jaso is going also. He hit the ball hard twice. All 3 outs tonight to the second baseman Dozier. And if you're a ground ball pitcher, that's what was surprising earlier, second and third, that the infield wasn't in when Sogard walked. Donaldson, if he hits a ground ball, is going to have to try to hit it hard enough to get through the infield.
Fastball inside to Donaldson, a double and a strikeout for Donaldson. Inside again. So Gibson not the sharp control here in the 5th inning, and he has paid dearly for it. Almost like he's nibbling here in the 5th inning.
Nibbling, trying to get the A's hitters to chase pitches. They're not doing it.
I mean, even the vote at bat.
Yep.
4 pitches out of the strike zone.
And that's the patience of the A's. 16 of the 25 out of the strike zone. On Gardenhire, Terry Steinbach, his bench coach, looking on.
3-0. Breaking ball is low, and he walked it. That's the third walk in this inning.
Wow. Kurt Suzuki, by calling that 3-0 slider, maybe he just did not feel the fastball, the sinker was working. Or Brandon Moss is not your typical hitter you want to bring up to try to get a double play with first base open on a 1 out.
Well, we may get some action now in the Twins bullpen, and indeed, bodies are getting up, jackets are coming off. Moss with a strikeout and a ground out. Well, the wheels have fallen off for Gibson here in the 5th inning. Still only 1 out. Anthony Swarzak, a right-hander, gets up. And that one past Suzuki. Here comes Coco, and it's 4-0. So we'll see what the ruling is.
Well, it's the hard slider, and looked like in just watching as it happened, Kurt Suzuki backhanded, and that's a ball that he normally either catches or gets in front of to block.
So it's pass ball.
Yeah, I think he was surprised that he missed it.
So 4-0. Donaldson now at second. So 3 walks, a bunt single, an error, a triple, a pass ball. A little bit of everything going on in this inning.
And a new haircut. And I don't know if his teammates are going to follow him or not.
No. Gibson behind in the count again, 3-1 to Moss. And Moss, a big swing, pops it up. Plouffe grabs it, and that's the 2nd out. So Moss is 0 for 3. And that'll bring up Lowry, the 8th man to hit in the inning. Lowry with a fly ball to right and a triple. His triple was his 2nd of the year. He's got 28 doubles. Good pitch there by Gibson to jump ahead in the count. 4 runs in this inning for the A's.
Look at what happened with Brandon Moss. Passed ball helped the A's score another run, because the fly ball that was hit foul would not have scored the runner.
White Sox leading the Mariners 1-0 in the 5th inning. Foul ball as Lowry had a check swing. Well, hitters must hate that. You check your swing, the pitch is a ball, and it just clips your bat.
Starts, holds up, and actually wasn't even a matter of the bat going through the hitting zone. Nope. It stayed on his shoulder.
It's almost like the ball just glances off the bat, and you do see that a fair amount. Popped up. It's going to be Parmalee, The first baseman has it. Side retired. Big damage for the A's. 4 runs as Coco Crisp cleared the bases with a gapper. So it's 4-0. The A's lead. Sports Tech California is brought to you by Prism. Now your team can collaborate at a whole new level with video walls from Prism. Learn how at prism.com. So the A's get 4 in the bottom of the 5th, and it's 4-0 top 6. So Kazmir runs to work with. So the first pitch to Parmalee is in for a strike. Parmalee, Nunez, Schaefer. Reddick back. No problem. 1 out. So Scott Kazmir with the chance for a shutdown inning. Pretty good. 78%.
Number 9.
Shutdown inning. Throw out the definition occasionally. Just if your team scores a run for you the next half inning, if you don't let them score any, then it's a shutdown.
That's it.
Gotta let your team hold momentum.
Yeah, that's the worst thing you could do is go out and after you score runs for you, you give them up. You're seeing Terry Steinbach, the bench coach for Ron Gardenhire, when he played here. Rene Latchman was the coach, and Latch had a little contest with Steinbach and Ron Hasse. They were called the shutdowns. And basically, if he was catching, Steinbach was catching, and his team scored runs, and the opposition did not score a run, a shutdown, Latch had to give up some golf balls.
Moss has got enough room, and he makes the catch. 2 outs.
So, on one hand, Latch, as the catching coach, wanted to make sure he gave up the golf balls, but he didn't like to give the golf balls.
Sure.
You know, he always came to me, can you give me some golf balls? I said, range balls?
Yeah.
He said, no, Hasse does not want range balls. He wants the best golf balls.
Yeah.
Steiner could care less. I don't know, New Ulm, Minnesota, the ice fishing, and the golf balls didn't help him that much. But the shutdown inning was for it. Latch had all kinds of little games that he played with his catchers, and they kept tabs on all of them.
Ron Hasse, the man who really never lost a bet, right?
That's right. And Ron Hasse probably got the most out of the number 24 than anybody. When Ricky came back, Ron was wearing 24.
That's what I'm saying.
And it was not an easy transaction.
And, you know, knowing Hasse, he may have thought ahead thinking,
Ricky coming back.
Is Ricky coming back out of the question? No. No, it's not.
And Ricky said, Ricky got all this jewelry with 24 on it. Ricky wants number 24. And Hass said, you can have it, but it's going to cost you. I think it's got golf clubs, golf shoes, big golfer. He got probably the most I've ever seen of a player for a number.
Right to vote, and that is a nice clean 3 up, 3 down, shutdown inning. Bottom of the 6th coming up.
Golf balls.
Ace 4, Twins nothing.
U-verse rewind. What a night so far for the Athletics. As Coco Crisp with the bases loaded, DH tonight, clears the bases with Coco's second triple, and there's the foot race. Sam Fold and Eric Sogard, and Coco would score on the pass ball, but it's been a night for Scott Kazmir, coming off a 10-hit game against the Kansas City Royals, but this helped tremendously as a 5-4-3 double play, and Scott Kazmir. And coincidentally, after that great play, the A's scored their runs in the bottom half of the inning. So a nice turn of events for the Athletics. Kev, I have to ask you, with that haircut now, you go in, you get a haircut. Do you go in with a picture? Or how do you explain to the barber what you want to do? What do you think?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know what to say.
I don't either. All I know, and I go in to see Rod, I just sit down.
Yeah.
You know? And
you look good.
I just walk because I don't even have to think about it. But you know, you just somehow have to take a picture or something. I want it just like this.
Although you wouldn't look terrible in a fade, Ray.
A what?
A fade.
What's a fade?
All right, check this out.
Oh yeah,
folks.
this is.
We're gonna let Stephen Vogt hit, but while he's hitting, we need to explain this because this is one of the funniest things I've seen in a long time. Yesterday on the MLB Network, Chris Rose, Kevin Millar have their show. It's very funny. They have a lot of guys on, do interviews, and they had Johnny Gomes on, and with Johnny Gomes was Stephen Vogt. But Stephen Vogt does one of the great NBA referee imitations, really one of the greatest ones you've ever seen. And he did it on the MLB Network yesterday, and I was just at home. I mean, I was getting ready to come to the ballpark, and I had it on. And it was hilarious, and we have it for you. So when Stephen Vogt is done batting, we're going to show it to you. And if you haven't seen it, it is a treat.
And
oh my God,
he is talented. I mean, he could do it. He could be an actor. I mean, he did something in spring training, the talent show. He could hit too.
He can hit. Oh yeah, he can hit. So here it is, folks. Listen in, and you're going to enjoy it.
From here, I can go charge, I can go block, and I can go straight up in the air. Yeah. Green, 2, 3, player out of control, out of bounds. Bring the...
Oh my God.
Let's show it again through the pitching change.
Oh, man. That may be the greatest thing I've ever seen.
From here, I can go charge, I can go block, and I can go straight up in the air. Yeah. 3, 2, 3. Player out of control. Out of bounds.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, if you liked him before, now you love him.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, he never broke character. They asked him about, well, what's it like to officiate in different arenas? And he answered them like he had been an NBA official.
Which one was?
Oracle Arena.
Yeah, of course.
Tough crowd, he said, but it was beautiful.
So, you know, give Johnny Gomes credit as well, because Stephen Vogt said Johnny Gomes sent him a text at noon yesterday. And he said, I'm going to be on Intentional Talk. He said, I'd like to have you on. He said, this is your show. You're being interviewed. And Gomes said, no, I want you on. And he introduced him, said, this is such a great act. He said, the world needs to see Stephen Vogt. And so, Johnny, you could see him behind his
the headband
and the earphones.
Oh, boy.
It's everything.
And you know the entire clubhouse is watching.
Oh. Well, they watched it on the replay last night after the game, and Lester, who just pitched a 3-hit shutout, was enjoying it more than anybody.
Oh, man. Back to the game. So I hope everybody understands our detour from the ball game. It is time for change. I think speaking of change,
we just saw the change.
Your oil change tune-up and repair experts. It's Anthony Swarzak who comes in. So Swarzak comes in with 2 on and nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. I think my favorite was the over and back.
Yeah.
Over and back.
He can maneuver the whistle. It's amazing that
Full tries to bunt again. Full had a big moment in this game, a bunt single that ended up being a bunt and an error on the first baseman, and it put runners at second and third and nobody out last inning. He bounces this one to Parmalee, who scoops up the short hop. But both the runners move up, so now second and third, 1 out.
Tried to sacrifice, did not get the job done. It does get the job done, except it goes as a time at the plate, not a sacrifice. I think the thing about Stephen Vogt, and while his referee and all the things he can do, I think he's so appreciative of the opportunity to be with the A's. Bob Melvin, when he sent him down there in spring training, said one of the hardest things he ever had to do, but he comes back, versatile, plays the outfield, first base, catch, but he finds a way to swing the bat and get a big hit.
Infield in. Sogard takes inside. Now, the A's had just 2 hits through the first 4 innings, but as they often do, figure a few things out. And they scored 4 in the 5th, trying to score here again in the 6th. Mike Napoli has homered for the Red Sox. That was in the top of the 5th inning. So Boston leads the Angels 4-2 in the bottom of the 5th. Always smiling.
Hey, speaking of the MLB Network, Matt Vasgersian actually talked about the 3 big hits today.
Did he?
He said, you know, at the Coliseum, the games out on the West Coast, you always see Ricky O'Reilly and the big hits.
Oh, Matt's a Bay Area guy.
Yes, he is.
Grew up
He's
an
a
A's fan.
big A's fan, exactly.
Inside, not by much, 3-1. So 5 walks in this game by Twins pitchers, and it has hurt them. A couple of them have scored. Sogard fouls it back on 3-1, so now he'll be ready to go on 3-2.
Might be a different story for Sogard. He might get something hit. First base is open, but Coco had the bases clearing triples in the on-deck circle.
And he rips one to right center field. That's a base hit, and it's going to go all the way to the wall. 2-run score. Sogard will ease into second with a double. 6-0 Athletics.
There's Sogard. I told us at Texas, he gets a pitch inside. He can turn on it. He's very patient. He waits a long time. And Schwarzak maybe thinking about Coco Crisp because of a fastball. And Sogard right on it immediately, popping it quickly with the infield in, and comes up with a 2-run double. And that is great hitting again by Eric Sogard, who has his batting average tonight. Entered play with a batting average of .214. And those two come around to score, so 3 walks have scored tonight.
Then here's the top of the order in Coco Crisp. First pitch, up and away. So Gibson allows all 6 runs. Reddick and Vogt were his responsibility. Swing by Crisp, fouls it back. So 6 runs, 5 earned against Gibson.
And 5 walks that you cannot afford to do against the Athletics.
And Vogt walk leading off the 5th inning may have been the biggest walk of all.
Yeah. After that great double play turned, and a nice pick by first base by Stephen Vogt. Double play started by Josh Donaldson, and A's took advantage of momentum and scored the 4.
So 2-2 the count. Coco ground out walk, and then that base is clearing triple. So he now has 36 RBIs on the year. Outside and a full count. Oh, another good at bat by an A's hitter. Right there, strike 3 called. Coco knew it. Must have been looking for something else.
A good slider and froze him. He could not do anything with it. And at that point, not much he could do except tip his hat and say nice pitch, and a little frustrated that he couldn't do anything with it.
So here's Jaso, who is grounded out 3 times to the second baseman. He takes a first pitch strike. Inside corner, and Ed Hickox has called that inside corner tonight. He's been pretty consistent with it. So 2 runs in for the A's, looking for more here in the 6th. And again, Jaso, for the 4th time, is going to ground out to second, side retired. So Sogard with a 2-run double, and the A's now lead 6-0 after 6. Our true story brought to you by McDonald's. Game 7 of the 1991 World Series as Jack Morris pitched a 10-inning, 7-hit shutout. And that is how the Minnesota Twins beat the Atlanta Braves in that World Series. And this was the game winner in the bottom of the 10th inning. One of the classic, one of the greatest World Series games in history. So there's the resume for Jack Morris. He was the MVP that year for that World Series. He won 4 World Series championships. How about that? And he is now an announcer for the Minnesota Twins, working with Dick Bremer. Talking to Chili Davis down in the field before the game. They were teammates in Minnesota.
Well, that's you mentioned the 10 innings, and Chili knows, being a teammate, and Jack Morris was not going to come out of the game until it was over, and it was over in 10 innings. But he was a competitor. At 84, of course, with the Tigers.
Here tonight, Scott Kazmir has been awesome. And that one hit down the right field line, foul. Kazmir has faced the minimum through 6. 1 hit, that was Vargas in the 5th, and he was erased on a double play. A couple years with the Twins, Chili Davis. And that one hit up the middle by Danny Santana, and he has his first hit in the series.
Kelly's a pretty good player. Left-handed, right-handed switch hitter, of course. 350 home runs. Stiff leg in front and go oppo, as he said, or he can pull it, do whatever, but very good player. And he was a catcher originally. Yeah. Kirby Puckett, number 34. Remember the big decoy at second base in that series against the Braves? I can't remember who was playing short, but it's a ball hit. Deke at second base. Guy stopped. Should have scored probably. But
Lonnie Smith.
Yeah, that's right. Lonnie Smith got decoyed and just enough. Puck with a big home run, game 6. Take it to 7. We'll see you tomorrow. Still want to say the most remarkable thing to drive in 112 runs as Chile did without one sacrifice fly in a season 9-3.
Two and one now to Brian Dozier, who has struck out and grounded out. Dozier 0 for 5 in the series. Outside again, 3-1. Trevor Plouffe to follow here in the 7th inning. Mariners have taken the lead over the White Sox 4-1 in the 6th inning behind Iwakuma. And there's a walk. So 2 on, nobody out for the Twins. That's the first walk for Kazmir. He's got 3 strikeouts.
And he's shaking his head, and he knows that he has a 6-run lead. And the last thing he wants to do, first of all, to give up a hit, but then also to walk the next batter on 5 pitches.
So here's Plouffe. They're going to the bottom of the 6th down in Anaheim with the Red Sox leading the Angels 4-2. Shot off of Donaldson's glove. It trickles into shallow left field. Santana's going to hustle around. He's going to score. And the Twins are on the board at 6-1. So give Plouffe the RBI single.
If Donaldson had caught this ball, he would have been a magician because it was hit hard, top spin, and just to his left. Did get a glove on it, but could not come up with it cleanly. That's how close it came.
So Plouffe gets his 52nd RBI. Still nobody out for Kenny Vargas. Arcia to follow. And a fastball right at the knees on the outside corner. How about that? First run allowed in the 7th inning or later this year for Scott Kazmir. Kazmir now at 141 innings on the season. Roll foul off maybe the foot of Vargas. Vargas with a ground out and a single. So in his short time in the big leagues, he's got 8 hits and 27 at bats. Swing and a miss. A changeup and a good one, and Kazmir gets his 4th strikeout.
Talk about pulling a string on a power hitter, and he pulled it perfectly, especially with the 0-2 count. You see the grip of Scott Kazmir with the changeup grip, and then same delivery as a fastball way out in front. That's what a hitter does. He sees what he thinks is a fastball and commits that early. No chance. So Oswaldo Arcia steps in.
Arcia has had no luck against Kazmir. He struck out twice, both times swinging. And not all those pitches have been in the strike zone. This one, he hits right up the middle for a base hit. Dozier digging around third. The throw to the plate is just a bit late. And it's 6-2. Arcia with an RBI single.
And just as you mentioned, not pitches on the plate, but that one was. And, well, it was another slider, but he left it up a little bit too much. Arcia able to take advantage of it. They wanted it down and away. Stayed too much at the plate.
Number 8, Kurt Suzuki.
Sam forward, what a throw, a little bit up the line, but still a very strong throw and what looked like an impossible chance to get it.
So they're moving around out in the A's bullpen. Looks like Cook, and it is. And he's getting after it fairly quickly out there. So the hitter is Suzuki. Still only 1 out, 3 singles and a walk, and a couple of runs in. Fastball is low. Plouffe at second, Arcia at first. Suzuki was robbed of that hit by Donaldson in the 5th inning. It turned into a terrific double play. Swing and a miss. One of the best double plays you'll see from any team in Major League Baseball this year.
And really looking at what it could have been had Donaldson not come up with it. At least a double, maybe a run batted in instead of being a double play.
This one's popped up. Vogt hustling over. Vogt still coming over, and it's right off the top of maybe the camera or somewhere right near the camera well. Vogt just could not quite get over there in time.
So he had his whistle and he said out of bounds.
Yep,
right?
out of bounds. Over and back. Player control foul. We'll shoot 2. Parmalee is the on-deck hitter. And Suzuki skies one toward shallow right center. And that's out number 2. And we've seen Suzuki be tough in those spots. But Kazmir gets him here. And now to bring up Parmalee.
Number 27, Chris Parmalee.
So Parmalee steps up. He's hit a couple of fly balls, one to center, one to right. He's got pretty good power. He's had good power numbers in the minor leagues.
Well, the important thing is stay away from him, not take a chance, especially with the power.
And he throws a fastball right down the middle. Parmalee takes it, and watch the rest of this at bat, Ray, and see if that's the best pitch he sees.
Yeah. Well, give him that one and then just start moving farther off the plate.
That one in a little bit, and it's 0-2.
That one a 94, and maybe Scott Kazmir thinking, I'm going to get through this inning, even if it takes everything I have. Pitch count still relatively low, considering where he is. Both of them in this half inning.
Setting up outside, and it's a fastball that's low. Kazmir not real happy with that one. It's not where he wanted it.
.61 strikes, only 21 balls of his 82.
And that one foul to the screen. The first stress inning for Kazmir. Last night, Lester only had 1 inning where he had to work extra hard. Very close. Kazmir wanted it. Ed Hickok says no.
This is what it looked like, and that's the angle that Mr. Hickok's had. Just a little bit off the plate. Looked like he had the right call.
Two-2 pitch is lined, and that is fair. Plouffe's going to score. Arcia is being waved. He's going to score. Moss has some trouble getting to it, and the ball rolls away, and that's going to allow Parmelee to try for third, and he's going to make it. So when it's all said and done, both runs score, and Parmelee ends up at third, and now it's 6-4.
Now, unfortunately, Parmelee got too good of a pitch to hit, especially with 2 strikes and inside out swing. He did not go farther outside and just dropped it in, and saw down in the corner of Arcia and Brandon Moss. Parmelee's going to be in score position anyway, but he does get to third base, and right there, the little backhand, and misses it. And then the throw there, a little bit offline, and it's almost as if Lowry wanted the ball to go through, and it was way offline. That was ugly.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune Up, your oil change, tune up, and repair experts.
Hall of Fame bobblehead, the former Oakland manager who guided the A's to the 1989 World Series Championship, has been inducted to the National Baseball Hall of Fame, and will throw out the ceremonial first pitch before the A's take on these Minnesota Twins. To purchase tickets, visit athletics.com/tickets or call 877-493-BALL. Been talking about Terry Steinbach being the catcher of the ceremonial first pitch, and looks like that might be the case tomorrow. And if it is, it's rightfully so, because Steinbach was first catcher for Tony La Russa in those years.
Well, now it's gotten interesting as Ryan Cook comes in. The Twins have scored 4 times here in the 7th inning, and it's a new ball game. 6-4, the A's lead. Parmelee is at third. So Cook trying to get Eduardo Nunez, and that one outside, 2-0. Nunez is 0 for 2. Ray, you know, you talk about a hot hitter. Ryan Cook is a hot pitcher.
Yes, he is.
He has been terrific as of late. And that one is drilled right center field, Fold on the move. He can't get it. It's past him all the way to the wall. Nunez hits the bag at second. He's going to try for third, and he falls between second and third. Now he scrambles back to second, and he's safe. Parmalee obviously scores. It's 6-5. What is going on in this inning, Ray? Weirdness.
It's almost like the A's scored 2 minute runs, a 6-0 lead. Now it's down to 1. So the 2-0, the fastball right center, and for some reason Nunez was thinking about going for 3. I don't know why, because he should have been satisfied with the double, especially with 2 outs. But Sogard came up throwing, and halfway Nunez stopped. And Nunez going for the 3rd, and then stumbled, and once he hit the ground, popped up quickly. Unfortunately for him, the throw had gone to 3rd, and then back to 2nd, and not enough time.
So now the tying run is Nunez at 2nd for Jordan Schaefer. First pitch to Schaefer is foul back.
Scott Kazmir had faced the minimum for 6 innings. 1 hit, a double play, ended that. And everything fell apart in this half.
Schaefer, a fly ball to left and a ground out to first. And he fouls that back. He's got a couple of fastballs and behind in the count 0-2. Well, the Twins getting shut out last night and then shut out the first 6 innings tonight. But they busted through here in the 7th with 5. Oh, 2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. So Cook strikes out Schaefer. And the inning comes to an end, but the Twins score 5 times. So 7th inning stretch. It's the A's 6 and the Twins 5.
Comcast Sportsnet California is brought to you by Xfinity, home of the most live sports, and by Toyota, #1 in MPG, durability, and resale value. Toyota, let's go places.
Hey, we got in-depth sports news for the Bay Area fan. Know it all with Sportsnet Central. It's brought to you by Hyundai, and it's tonight at 10:30 on our sister station, Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. Tonight's topics, we'll have all the highlights and clubhouse reaction from this A's-Twins game. Raiders and Vikings played tonight in Minneapolis, and Warriors legends enter the Hall of Fame. Ahmed Fareed and Henry Wolford will host. So bottom of the 7th, the A's lead is now 6-5. It was 6-0. So Anthony Swarzak to face Donaldson. Donaldson, Moss, and Lowry here in the bottom of the 7th. Donaldson, double strikeout and a walk. Slider. Donaldson checks his swing, and he went around, says Pat Holbrook.
Well, we have talked about the very strong bullpen of the Athletics, and they're going to be needed tonight. This check swing on a slider, and he definitely went too far.
In the dirt, 2-1, and the ball shoots right back to Swarzak, who will retrieve it. Final starting to come in around Major League Baseball tonight. Astros beat the Rangers 4-3 in Houston. Chris Carter with another home run. He's now got 25 home runs. He's been hot. Just when you think that wild card in the American League couldn't get any tighter, it did after today. The Royals beat the Giants 4-2. The Royals have now won 8 out of 9, and they're making their move. Yeah. Playing great baseball. We saw those Royals come here and take 2 out of 3 from the A's. So look at that, folks. The Angels are still playing, and the Mariners are still playing. Everybody else has played. So there you go. The Orioles, who are, well, the Yankees beat the Indians 10-6, so the Yankees continue to play well. So who knows what's going to happen with that wild card.
Well, a lot of baseball remaining, August and September.
And you don't want your team to be on that list, Rick.
No, that's a great point.
It's the list you don't want to be on.
But sometimes when you have a 6-0 lead, it becomes a 1-run lead, and now you're trying to hang on after having the big lead. Maybe some sort of a wake-up call, because all things happen, but it's not like the A's wanted it to. Just give Twins credit for doing it.
So a cardinal sin by Swarzak. Yeah. Your team gets 5, and you walk the leadoff man.
There's a shutdown. Now, the beginning of a shutdown is a walk, and Ron Gardenhire said, that's it.
I don't blame him.
That's the Tom Kelly philosophy there.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune Up, your oil change, tune up and repair experts.
Bullpen Unicorn Backpack presented by Ubisoft. That's when the A's take on the Angels Sunday, August 24th. This unique backpack is designed by pitchers Sean Doolittle and Ryan Cook. 10,000 fans receive the backpack upon entry, so be sure to get your tickets now at athletics.com/tickets or by calling 877-493-BALL. The A's Bullpen Unicorn Backpack presented by Ubisoft. Look for your dream job at ubi.com. Man, that's going to be a good one for school, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Last time we saw him, he was laying down. Remember, he was relaxing a little bit. Watching the game tonight. See, a good reliever has the baseballs right next to him in case he gets the call.
And they're rubbed up, ready to go.
The game.
Casey Chavez already rubbed them up. Gamers.
So here's Jared Burton. Game number 50 for Burton. And he will face Moss. Bottom of the 7th in Anaheim. Still 4-2 Red Sox. Mentioned that the Yankees beat the Indians. The Yankees have won 6 out of 7. Tigers beat the Blue Jays 5-4. Tigers scored 3 in the 9th. And beat Casey Jansen, who blows a save. Well, the Blue Jays going the other way. Blue Jays have now lost 6 out of 7. And they're 6 games back in the division. So they were riding high on top of that division for a fair amount of time. But Donaldson runs and the ball's fouled at the plate. So the Tigers are now 63-50 on the year.
Figure that great team 63-50, 13 over 500. The A's 26 over 500.
Well, it was the same way last year with the Tigers.
Yeah.
I mean, they did not go crazy in the regular season.
Just got to do enough to get there. Huh? Do enough to get to postseason and let everything take off from there.
The Orioles beat the Cardinals 12-2. Good matchup there interleague, but Baltimore continues to play hot. Orioles now 66-49. Orioles hit 6 home runs tonight at Camden Yards.
Donaldson was going on a hit and run. Not a bad ploy by the Athletics, trying to get Brandon Moss going. Did foul it off. See if he takes off on the 3-2.
And Moss swings and misses. So the struggles continue for Moss. He is 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts.
Well, he is not getting pitches to hit. And 3-1 fouled out. 3-1 in the first inning. 3-2 in the first inning, struck out. But he's not getting hittable pitches on 3-2, and that's the over aggressiveness. And he did it in the first inning when he struck out on the changeup, and this time on a hard sinker. But hitters go through tough times, they work through them, and they get through them to the point they get back and as if it never happened.
So with 1 out, Lowry will hit. Lowry a triple. He's 1 for 3. He's with 6 hits in the game. Both teams now with 6 hits. A couple of former Athletics in the news today. Bartolo Colon got his 200th career win. So congratulations to Colon. And from the same team, Chris Young was designated for assignment today. Chris Young signed a 1-year deal with the Mets in the offseason as a free agent. And Lowry goes around 0-2.
When we were in New York and the A's were playing the Mets, there was talk then that there might be a change, but he faced his former team and hit home runs.
That's right. Hit a couple.
Yeah. That was a game that Casimir started in New York that Cologne won.
0-2 to Lowry with Reddick waiting in the on-deck circle. Fouled straight back. Mariners still leading the White Sox 4-1 in the 7th inning. Donaldson runs, and the pitch is a ball, and it's blocked by Suzuki, but rolls away. So Donaldson will get a stolen base.
A lot of times for Donaldson, he's not really a threat to steal a lot, but he will surprise some people. 7th of the season. They look at the statistics and they see players not running that much and pay as much attention. And Donaldson going with the 2 strikes, not really looking back, so straight steal all the way.
Outside, so Lowry will try to knock him in, get one of those runs back that the A's gave up in the 7th when the Twins scored 5. Jared Burton on in relief of Anthony Swarzak. Twins starter tonight was Kyle Gibson. He went 5+ innings. He's knocked him out in the 6th. Line drive, but it's hooked foul right into the bullpen. So the count remains 2-2 to Lowry. Outfield is straight away. Nunez, the shortstop, slid over behind Donaldson. High in the air to shallow right. Dozier hustling out. Arcia coming in, and the right fielder will make the catch. 2 away here in the bottom of the 7th inning. So Lowry 1 for 4. And we're going to get a pitching change.
All of a sudden, Ron Gardenhire utilized the bullpen because it's now a 1-run game.
Gardenhire wants a left-hander to face Reddick. We'll be back. 6-5, the A's lead.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
(6-5), the A's lead the Twins. Join us tomorrow. The A's and Twins will play Game 3 of this 4-game series. It'll be Jeff Samardzija and it'll be Trevor May. And Trevor May is making his major league debut. So he's a right-hander. pitching at AAA, and he will be here tomorrow. Samardzija takes them out for the Athletics. So coverage begins at 5:30 with A's pregame live. The home of A's baseball is Comcast Sportsnet California. So here's Caleb Thielbar. He's got one job to do, and that's get a left-handed hitter out.
As we noted last night, very tough on left-handers, and that's the reason he was brought in to face Josh.
Ready.
Let's think of that song.
And that one's hit to right. That's hit pretty well. Arcia going back. He's at the wall. He leaps against the wall, and he makes the catch. Side retired, and the A's do not score. So we're headed to the 8th. 6-5 Athletics over the Twins. Powered by Toyota Prius. Well, they're always happy out in right field. That young lady caught a foul ball earlier, so she's a happy camper. And it's Friday night at the ballpark. 20,196 is the attendance tonight here at the O.co Coliseum. A's once had a 6-0 lead. Now it's 6-5. So it got interesting quickly. The Twins scored 5 in the 7th inning. So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. Luke Gregerson comes in. Gregerson, another hot reliever. Gregerson's been pitching great lately. Well, the whole bullpen's been pitching great. Cook and Gregerson as well as anybody.
Well, they'd like to get 6 outs out of Gregerson and probably Doolittle. And sometimes you think there's a laugher in the waiting, and then all of a sudden you realize nothing to laugh about. And
so the bullpen has gone 26.2 consecutive scoreless innings. They're just an inning away from the Oakland record, which was set in 1998. So they've been good. And you know what, Ray, with the really the last 3 weeks or so, maybe even a little bit longer, the offense slowing down some, they've had to be good.
Absolutely. And that's maybe why the shock tonight with the 6 runs. And that 6-run lead is gone down to 1. So the bullpen, and they have been very good as recently as last series, retiring 10 consecutive batters following Jason Hamels 5 2/3.
Casey Fine throwing out in the Twins bullpen. 2-1 the count to Danny Santana, the leadoff hitter for the Twins. And he bunts it, and it just trickles foul. It's our first time seeing Santana bat from the left side.
And not surprised to see him bunting and showing off the speed. Very good speech to coaching first base for Hall of Famer Paul Molitor. on the staff of Ron Gardenhire now. See him on the bases, and he could play. Paulie was Milwaukee Brewers for many years. Grew up in the Twin Cities, played for the Blue Jays and won the World Championship, and only player to hit a triple for his 3,000th hit.
He could hit.
Oh,
wow. Spray it all over the place.
How about those totals? Over 3,000 hits, 33-19.
And that's what Santana cannot do, is he popped it up. He's got lots of speed. Hitting it in the air is probably not going to do him much good, and Lowry has it for the first out.
Notice a little handlebar mustache of Luke Gregerson. He said, "Oh, it's just the way it's going, but it's starting to curl up a little bit towards the ends of the mustache." What he has to do is think about one of the big heads and Raleigh fingers.
Yeah,
that's handlebar mustache.
Here's Dozier. Dozier takes a first pitch strike. Plouffe to follow. So a couple of right-handed hitters for Gregerson here in the 8th. And a hanger, and it's popped up. And Donaldson waits. 2 outs.
And for a home run hitter, you say hanger and it's a pop-up, that's exactly what you want.
That was a hanger.
Yeah.
So here's Plouffe.
Number 24, Trevor Plouffe.
Plouffe is 1 for 3. He had an RBI hit in that 7th inning. Slider for a strike. Big chopper towards Sogard near the bag at second. 3 up, 3 down. Very easy inning for Gregerson, so he continues his great roll. Bottom of the 8th coming up, 6-5, the A's lead. This game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 5-6-1 for the Twins, 6-6-1 for the A's. A's had a 6-0 lead. Twins scored 5 in the 7th. Gibson knocked out in the 6th. Kazmir was rolling along. I mean, he was on top of it until hit tough times in the 7th inning. He still has a chance to pick up the win. And the big hit, Coco Crisp, a 3-run triple. So as we get set to start the bottom of the 8th inning, Ron Gardenhire is going to make a pitching change. So when it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. Ken Clark, Vince Caccione, Ray Foss, and myself will get together an unscripted roundtable discussion about tonight's game. It's only on A's Post-Game Live and 95.7 The Game after the game. So those two gentlemen will sneak over and we'll talk about what we hope is an Athletics victory. They're in the bottom of the 8th. In Anaheim, Red Sox still leading 4-2. So Johnny Gomes is going to hit for Vogt. With Johnny Gomes was announced, and that's why Ron Gardenhire came out to make the change. Gomes was announced when the left-hander Thielbar was in there. Fastball first strike. So Casey Fine is the new pitcher.
Actually, the bullpen of the Twins doing tonight what the A's bullpen has been doing, and he's hoped that is the case with Sean Doolittle pitch in the 9th inning.
Sam Full to follow, and then Sogard here in the 8th inning. Slider, hard slider outside. 2-2 the count.
Think about Johnny Gomes facing a lot of lefties with the pitches coming into him, or the sinker, the changeup away from him. Now he has right-hander that most of the pitches are going away from. That's a nice adjustment as Sean Doolittle gets ready for the 9th, and maybe at one time never thought he's going to be in when the A's had the 6-0 lead. But as he said, he's always prepared just in case.
Good breaking ball, and Gomes swings and misses, so that's the first out in the bottom of the 8th. That's a tough pitch for any hitter.
Yeah. Perfectly thrown outside part of the plate.
So one away for Fuld. In the 9th inning, the Twins will have Vargas, Arcia, and Suzuki. Those are the 3 scheduled hitters. They do have Willingham on the bench. They got Colabello on the bench, a couple of right-handed hitters with some power. Wouldn't be surprised if we see one of those two guys. Willingham has the batting gloves on. You see him sitting in the dugout.
And anybody facing Sean Doolittle, they know what they're going to get. Hammer, a pretty good fastball hitter.
Jordan Schaefer in left field surrounds it. So with 2 outs, Sogard will hit. A's baseball on Comcast Sportsnet California is brought to you by Sonoma Raceway. The Verizon IndyCar Series returns to Sonoma Raceway on August 22nd through the 24th for the GoPro Grand Prix of Sonoma. So with 2 outs, Sogard will hit. He's had a good ball game. He lined out in the 3rd. He walked and scored in the 5th. He doubled home 2 in the 6th. So how big was that hit?
And he might have gotten the fastball. He did with 2nd and 3rd and first base open because Coco Crisp had already tripled to drive in 3. And Sogi very patient to draw the 3-2 pitch and then hit the double to right center. And yes, it was huge.
And now 3-0. Coco in the on deck, sir, hoping to get a chance to hit here in the bottom of the 8th inning. That one right in there, first strike. And now 3-2. High fastball from Casey Fine. So Doolittle now standing on the bullpen mound. He is ready to go. In the 3-2, swing and a miss. Good inning for Casey Fine, a couple of strikeouts. So a 1-run lead as we go to the 9th, and it'll be Doolittle's job to save it.
Game, Coco Crisp, designated hitter 9 with the bases loaded. 2-2 fastball right center. Stephen Vogt scoring. And right behind Sam Fold is Derek Sogard to throw. And Coco Crisp, new haircut and all. A 3-run triple. And then gave the A's an early 3-0 lead. He was scoring a pass ball. That was big, and even bigger for Derek Sogard to hit a 2-run double. All of the things big. Last night, John Lester, 3-0, 3-hit shutout. But tonight, 3 was not enough. The A's needed all 6 at this point. Sean Doolittle will try to save it for Scott Kazmir and the Athletics.
So he'll face Vargas, Arcia, and then we'll see who hits third in this inning. Johnny Gomes is in the game in left field, and Moss goes to first base. And the first pitch in for a strike. Also, Derek Norris goes behind home plate. Kenny Vargas is 1 for 3. Ground out, single, strikeout. Fastball just a bit outside. There's a shot past Donaldson and rolling toward Gomes. Vargas is going to make a turn and stop. And a very hard hit ball. That ball was smoked.
Oh, through the legs of Donaldson. A pinch runner for Vargas. Look how hard this ball was hit, and Donaldson, a valiant effort, and it was past him so quickly. And you see it right here coming at Donaldson with a top spin. It was so hard right through his legs.
It doesn't happen very often that a ball that goes through an infielder's legs is a hit. But that was a hit. So there's Escobar, your pinch runner. And this is Oswaldo Arcia with Suzuki in the on-deck circle.
Well, they said Vargas hits the ball hard. We have had the opportunity to see exactly that.
And a big swing and a miss, and Arcia tried to give the Twins the lead. He's 1 for 3, had an RBI single in the 7th inning. And the swing needs to get smaller against Doolittle and not bigger. he'll blow it right by you. And another giant swing, and it's 0-2.
If there's ever a time to move outside off the plate, try to get him to chase. Sean Doolittle, as we have seen, pretty much a 4-seam fastball. We'll throw a slider, but that's down the list of his better pitches. And you don't want to speed up the bat of this hitter.
0-2. Swing and a miss. No chance. 3 fastballs, and Arcia sits down.
Derek Norris going up the ladder right there just enough, and wow.
So we got a new record, Ray Fosse. 28 consecutive scoreless innings by the Athletics bullpen. That is a new Oakland record. So Cook 1/3 of an inning tonight. Gregerson 1 inning. Doolittle gets an out here in the 9th. So the bullpen is good, and it's been pitching good. Here's Suzuki, first pitch, inside corner, a strike. Willingham has come out into the on-deck circle. Suzuki had a good swing there. Fastball was down a little bit.
I think hitters realize that Sean Doolittle's fastball, if they just get started, load up early and get started, he can provide the power. And that's the scary thing about the way Doolittle throws the fastball. It's so hard. But a lot of times hitters cannot load up early enough, quickly enough to get the bat through the hitting zone.
0-2 pitch is driven toward Folt. Folt comes in. Now he's got to stop, and he makes the catch. In fact, that ball had a little action on it.
And really, there is an example of that's what I said as far as Kurt Suzuki. That's just an easy swing, and fortunately, it was not so late that the ball went in the right center. It went to Sam Folt, who was positioning that direction.
Number 16, Josh Willingham.
So with 2 outs, Willingham will hit with the game on the line. Willingham has been tough on the A's since becoming a member of the Twins. 11 home runs this year, lots of power. First pitch to Willingham is a strike at the knees. Career versus Athletics, 365 with 7 home runs. Escobar is the pinch runner. He's got a pretty good lead. And that one is off the outside, 1-1. Fastball, Willingham lays off.
Outfielders are playing deep, trying to cut off any ball that might go to the gap, and of course Escobar, the pinch runner, will be off on any contact made by Willingham.
And he got a fastball to hit, foul it back.
But if you get Willingham to chase a high fastball, one that's temptingly high, not one that's over his head as the second one out of the strike zone was.
Two and two the count.
That's why the elevation of the fastball for Doolittle is his primary pitch.
And that one rolled to the backstop, so a fastball that was down a little bit. So the inning started with the Vargas single. Arcia struck out, Suzuki flied out. Here we go, 2-2. And that one is belted to left. Foul. And Willingham never left the box. I think he knew it was foul right at contact.
Fortunately, he had to load up a little early because he figured he was going to get the fastball, and he did. And fortunately, he did because he pulled it foul. You see, that pitch was down a little bit. Remember, for Doolittle, when he elevates it, it's just a question of whether Willingham will swing at it.
And that one is right at the knee. Strike 3 called, and that's the ball game. So Doolittle gets his 17th save, and he saves it for Scott Kazmir. So Kazmir is the winning pitcher. He is now 13-4. So it was 6-0, and then the Twins made a game out of it. But once again, the bullpen comes through for the Athletics, and the bullpen has been absolutely sensational as of late. So the A's win the second game of this 4-game series as they defeat the Minnesota Twins by a final score of 6-5. So another tight ball game, and in tight ball games, I think that's where the bullpen shines the most, and that's also where the A's, I think they just have a big advantage over every other team when it gets late and it's tight, and then Bob Melvin goes down there and he's got all kinds of guys to choose from. I think they're all good and they're all pitching well right now, and that's quite a combination.
Yeah, I think Bob Melvin thought win number 801 would be a little bit easier after a 6-0 lead, but you're right. He knows he has a very strong bullpen, and Scott Kazmir, just all of a sudden everything started to happen negatively for him and the Athletics in this 5-run inning. Fortunately, it was just 5 runs, and they were able to hang on with the 1 run. But it's great to have the bullpen. We've seen it so often. What Lester did last night, and maybe that helped the A's tonight because he went the distance. 9 innings, bullpen very strong tonight, as they usually are, that they mixed and matched, and the back end of the bullpen able to come up very strong tonight.
So most of the time, or at least lately, Ray, it's been the starters who have kind of picked up the offense. The offense has not scored a whole lot of runs lately, but the offense scored some runs tonight, and Scott Kazmir tired a little bit, like you said, but tonight it was the bullpen who picked up. There's always something. When all 3 of your parts are good, somebody's going to pick the other one up.
And that's part of being a team and having a team, and up and down the lineup. Coco comes back tonight. The DH comes through with a big hit. Eric Skogard hitting 9th comes up with just as big a hit with a 2-run double to right center, which at the time made it 6-0. Didn't think those runs would be as important as they turned out to be, but you never can get enough, and fortunately the A's got just enough tonight.
All right, Sean Doolittle is standing by downstairs, and Sean, we're talking a lot about this bullpen and how terrific you guys have been pitching. Are you guys aware of what kind of role you are on, and the fact that you're now in the Oakland A's record books for consecutive scoreless innings by a bullpen?
Not until last night, actually. I think we all felt like we had a pretty good thing going down there. I think after last night's ball game, we started getting a lot of questions from the media and stuff. Hopefully we can continue to keep it going.
Big save for you tonight, as all saves are for you and for the team. But talk about staying prepared. And you've talked about this in a game that was 6-0. It looked like it was going to be a game you might not be in. How do you keep yourself prepared so you're all ready for 9th inning tonight?
Every game, no matter what the score is, in the 6th inning, I start going through my stretching routine. And while I do that, I'm mentally preparing myself, kind of going over the scouting reports, cluing in on where they are in the lineup, guys that might be coming up come the 9th inning. And it helps keep me in a good place where I feel ready to pitch. Unfortunately, tonight, Kaz was in control all night, hit a speed bump there a little bit. But we were able to pull it out and get him the win.
And Sean, the first part of the year, the bullpen was a work in progress a little bit. The manager was trying to figure out who to put where. But now that we're into the final 2 months, you can tell that Gregerson's in the 8th inning, you're in the 9th, Cook in the 7th, Abad if you need a left-hander. How nice is that for not you, because you're the closer, you know where you're going to pitch, but really for all the guys in the bullpen to know their roles now?
Well, I think a couple things in the beginning of the season. We weren't quite 100% healthy yet. Cookie had some stuff in the beginning of the year. We got O'Flaherty off the DL. And it was almost one of those things where we had so many guys that could pitch in so many scenarios. Now we have it set to a point where when that phone rings, everybody down there knows who it's going to be. Guys can prepare mentally maybe a little bit better. Things have fallen into place really nicely, and everybody's embraced their role, and the results are starting to speak for themselves.
Josh Willingham, power hitter. You throw him a fastball down low. I know normally you're pitching up high. What about that at bat? What were you trying to do? Was that just rear back, throw it hard, or were you trying to keep the ball down?
No, on that last one, after he great foul pole placement by our grounds crew the last couple of nights. They've done a great job putting it in just the right spot. After that, I just tried to make a quality pitch down and away, and I think he was looking for another fastball up and caught him off guard.
But Sean, before we let you go, we got to ask you this one last thing. We laughed extremely hard tonight in the broadcast booth because we showed the Stephen Vogt umpire segment. How hard were you guys laughing in the clubhouse when that was going on yesterday?
I'll tell you what, man, I'm so happy for him that he got to do it in front of a bigger audience than just the clubhouse. And I know that was something he brought over with him from Tampa Bay, and something that It's become almost a daily thing in the clubhouse. He's a really funny guy. He's great for the clubhouse. On top of what he does on the field, and I was just really excited for him that he got to do it for that audience. We were losing it in the locker room. It was great.
He has layers of talent. That Stephen Vogt guy. Yeah. All right, Stephen, Sean, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so Sean Doolittle, part of a record-setting group, and boy, they have been awesome. So
and
let's
they
hope
needed
that continues.
Everything they got tonight. After a laugher, what looked like a laugher, and then it became a one-run game, but great to have a strong bullpen.
Indeed. So 6-5 is your final. The A's over the Minnesota Twins tonight, and indeed, it went right down to the wire, but Doolittle gets his 18th save of the year. You've been watching A's Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet California. Don't go away. A's Postgame Live with Guy Haberman and Biff Roberts starts right now.